That it is now 7 o'clock, and we'll call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for April 5th. May we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Svenby.
Here.
Dotson.
Here.
Zuckerberg.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
And Abraham.
Here.
All council members are present.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight for our council meeting, and I do not see any corrections or additions to the agenda, so we'll look for a motion to approve it as presented.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Brent Svenby. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Greg Schultz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. We now move down to a public hearing, emergency repair at 222 East Main, and with that, we will go to Chris.
Good evening. Thank you. We had set the hearing for tonight. As you're aware, there is a request by Dennis and Susan Johnson to assess the emergency repair of their sewer. They have a privately owned sewer service that failed, and resulting in the repair cost of about $7,500, and as a hardship for anyone to come up with all at once, and they have asked for it to be assessed to their property and pay over as provided by the statute and our policies. So staff would recommend adoption of the resolution and approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Zuckerberg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. The next item on the agenda is the mayor, a proclamation for Tom.
Thank you very much, Les. It's my privilege as mayor to do proclamations, and this one is for Blue Ribbon Month. And the proclamation reads, the City of Owatonna, whereas the Exchange Club of Owatonna is participating in the National Blue Ribbon Campaign, and whereas the National Blue Ribbon Campaign uses the month of April to bring awareness for the National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and whereas almost 1 in every 100 children are being abused or neglected throughout the United States each year, and whereas an average of nearly 5 children die every day as a result of child abuse or neglect in the United States, and whereas the Exchange Club of Owatonna is working to make our community a better place to live, signs have been posted in Central Park claiming it shouldn't hurt to be a child, and prevention child abuse signs will be posted at the elementary schools during the month of April to increase public awareness for this campaign. Now, therefore, I, Thomas A. Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Owatonna, hereby proclaim the month of April 2016 as Blue Ribbon Month, and ask the citizens of Owatonna to help support Blue Ribbon Campaign and help bring an end to child abuse and child neglect. And in testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Owatonna to be affixed this April 5th, 2016, Thomas A. Kuntz. And with that proclamation, we have a representative from the Owatonna Exchange Club. Gordy, if you'd just like to make a couple comments.
Yes, thank you. I'm the president of the Owatonna Noon Exchange Club. There's the Steele County Club, which meets in the morning, and the Moonlighters, which meets in the evening. And we'd like to thank the mayor and council for these proclamations that you've done over the many years that we've been involved in this project. Our local Child Abuse Prevention Center started in 1984, and we've been carrying on with the help of the community and many other agencies to get that done. So once again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you'd like to take that back to the club.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, and I do like the idea of printing it in blue also, so it's
Very nice.
Thank you. And moving on to financial report, and we'll ask Councilmember Schultz to read the financial report.
Expenditures presented for approval tonight are as follows. Checks over $20,000 are $31,917 to Owatonna Ford for a 2016 F-150 pickup for the Building and Grounds Department. $36,053 to Mo's Construction for the 222 North Cedar project. $59,914 to Owatonna Ford for two 2016 Ford Explorers for the Police Department. $21,270 to Owatonna Heating and Cooling for the Art Center project. $24,157 to Protein Construction Products for the Art Center project. $43,000 to Rocon Inc. for the Art Center project. $120,839 to the Southeast Service Cooperative for the March health insurance premiums. Other expenditures of $321,131, making a subtotal of $658,282. Add to that the HRA Section 8 payments of $65,232, makes a total presented for approval tonight of $723,514.68.
Thank you, Greg. What is the council's wishes?
Motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff Okerberg. Any further discussion on them? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now we move on to the consent agenda items, which are minutes of meetings, permit, license requests, board commission minutes, department reports, etc., grouped into one motion. And what is the council's wishes on this?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion on any of the items? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These have been approved. Moving down to action items, we start with 3.1.1, Ordinance 216, second reading of the Section 35 fees. And this we go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. As you know, we had looked at this fee issue during our budget process, and we looked at all various city fees, and we wanted to make sure that we were charging a sufficient amount to cover the costs of the issuance and administration of those permits and fees. We met in a study session in December and talked about it at length, reviewed the adjustments and the rationale for each. We had not adjusted the fees in several years, and some of the costs of recording, publication, notification were not covered by our current fee schedule. And we are recommending that the council increase the fees as outlined in the proposed ordinance number 2-16. Staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Jeff Okerberg to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion? This being an ordinance, ask for roll call.
Councilmember Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Svenby.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Okerberg.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Abraham.
Aye. This has been approved as a second reading and it now will be taking effect.
It will be published in effect upon publication.
Yes. Okay. Moving down to 3.2.1, Resolution 24-16, a preliminary plat of North Bluff Estates Number 2, and this will go to Troy.
Good evening. This is a request by B&B Development to modify an existing townhome development, changing it from a 14-unit lots, which currently are platted as side-by-side townhome units, to 13 single-unit townhome lots. Currently, there is a one dead-end cul-de-sac, private cul-de-sac. There's another one that has the infrastructure in but is not paved. And they are requesting modifying the plat to reflect those new lot lines, as well as an amendment to the conditional use permit, which will show up later in the agenda. This was brought before the council at the last meeting, and there was some question as to whether these were going to be permanent dead ends or if they were going to be extended into the property to the west and connect. When it was brought to Planning Commission the first go-around, the assumption was that they were going to be dead ends, and therefore hammerheads were requested, as well as moving the fire hydrants. The developer had suggested that there was some plans to extend those private streets to connect. That information was available at the Planning Commission meeting the first time, so it was sent back to Planning Commission. With that new information, the Planning Commission recommended approval as it was submitted without moving the fire hydrants or requiring the hammerheads. And so staff would recommend approval of the proposed preliminary plat as presented with the conditions listed there from the Planning Commission.
And the corrections from the last one.
So from the last resolution to this resolution, the requirements of the fire hydrants being relocated would be removed, as well as the turnaround area be constructed at the end of the two private cul-de-sacs would be removed.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the council? Nate?
This addressed all of your concerns. Everybody's agreeable to that?
Okay. Any other questions from the council?
Make a motion to approve.
I'm sorry.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Nate Dodson to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Fenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.2.2, Resolution 31-16, the set date for public hearing for Cybex expansion project, and we're back to Troy.
So staff has been working with Cybex about a possible expansion since they've been purchased by Brunswick, the parent company, and is now under the division of Life Fitness. The company is looking at 150,000 square foot addition onto their existing facility just to the east of their facility next to Highway 35. Estimated cost of construction is between $10 and $12.5 million and is anticipated additional employees of 50 to 60 additional employees by the end of 2017. The company is requesting tax increment financing for the project, and therefore we need to set up a public hearing for that, and we're proposing May 17th, 2016 for the public hearing. Also with this project, the company is requesting the city provide assistance and support in preparing the submission of an application for the Job Creation Fund. And this is a state financial assistance to expanding businesses that meet certain job criteria and capital investment targets. You can apply up to $1 million. The project is eligible, and we have used this project or this program in the past with Daikin Applied. We did apply for and did receive some job creation fund for that project as well. So staff would recommend approval of setting the public hearing date for the TIF district for May 17th, and then you'll have a second resolution there authorizing staff to prepare an application to the Job Creation Fund on behalf of Cybex.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved to proceed. Moving down to 3.2.3, Resolution 32-16. Again, you've described it pretty well. I think we can move on and look for or entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Thank you, Troy, and everyone else that's been involved with this. Moving down to 3.3.1, C 1382 is a PUD construction, 2 private streets, patio homes. With that, Troy again.
This is just the second approval of the townhome development. The first was a preliminary plat approval. This is the conditional use permit approval, and I kind of described everything there. These will be patio homes with no basements, 2 stall garages with the potential of 3. We separated it with the same setbacks that would be required for single family. So staff would recommend approval of this conditional use permit.
Thank you, Troy. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
So motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to miscellaneous items, 3.5.1, purchase property at 134 East Fremont Street. And we're back to Troy.
As residential redevelopment is one of the city council's priorities in their strategic plan, the HRA, Housing and Redevelopment Authority, has been pursuing opportunities to eliminate and redevelop blighted properties. The property owner of the property at 134 East Fremont has contacted staff about the city purchasing their property. The city did purchase the property at 122 East Fremont last year and has been renting the property to recoup some of the costs before the property would be demolished for redevelopment. The city has a purchase agreement with the property owner contingent upon city council approval. The purchase price would be $10,000, which would be paid for by the HRA. The HRA did approve the purchase of the property at their March 28th meeting. The house is a small house built in 1880 and has been vacant for 2 years. It does sit across from Alexander Lumber and across the alley from the parking lot at Tim's Auto. The area is zoned B3 Central Business District and is a good location for redevelopment. There are 2 businesses in the area that have shown interest in additional space. If you remember, Cedar Avenue Repair and Lube was a property on the block that did get redeveloped last year with city assistance. That it did include a demolition of a house, and this block is in a good position to transition from residential to commercial because it does have commercial on both the north and south sides. The HRA would demolish the house. The estimated cost of demolition would be between $10,000 and $15,000. All expenses would be covered by the HRA and demolition would be contracted out. So staff would recommend approval of the purchase of the property at 134 East Fremont.
Thank you, Troy. Questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.52 is to purchase property at 433 Mineral Springs Road. And we're back to Troy.
Just last month, the DNR did award the city $500,000 in grant money to purchase and remove homes within the floodplain. These funds would cover 100% of the costs associated with the purchase and the removal of homes within the floodplain. We have accessed these grants many times in the past that resulted in purchasing and removing 24 homes and 1 business within the floodplain. Under this grant, all the funds must be used by June 30th of 2018. The grant program is a voluntary program and must meet certain criteria. The city has a purchase agreement with the property owner at 433 Mineral Springs Road to purchase the property for $111,000 upon city council approval. An appraisal of the property was completed to establish this purchase price. The property contains a single-family house with a detached garage, and closing for the property would occur on or before May 31st. The basement of the home was flooded during the 2010 flood event, and this would be the last home that the city would be interested in removing within the floodplain under utilizing grants. The city has removed the 2 houses on either side of this property last year, so each house on either side was removed. So this kind of stands alone. All costs associated with the purchase and removal of the home and garage would be covered by the grant. The removal of the structures would again be contracted out. In this case, it may be possible to move the house and garage, and this will be left up to whoever does get the bid, and hopefully will be reflected in the bid amounts that we get. If there's a potential for that to be moved, there's some money to be gained in that case. So staff would recommend approval of the purchase and removal of the structures at 433 Mineral Springs Road.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Thank you very much for getting that done. Next is 3.53, adopt policy revisions and additions, and I see Lynn is here, so I will go to Lynn.
All right, thank you. Tonight I bring two small policy changes to you, and the first one is 3.11, the payroll. The Finance Department has requested that all departments submit completed payroll request forms, timesheets, to the Finance Department no later than 3 p.m. on Monday. Currently, well, right now they are requesting that and people are abiding by it, but we just want to change the policy to follow that. The next one is 7.5, sick leave use as it pertains to childbirth. The policy is for the purpose of allowing eligible employees to take sick leave within 24 hours of the birth of their child. And I'd like to change that to match the current Minnesota State Statute 181.9413. I recommend increasing the time to 160 hours and to include adoption in that. If employees wish to take additional leave beyond the 160 hours of sick time, it is covered in other sections of the policy. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Jeff Fokelberg. Brent, okay. Any
Thank you.
further discussion here? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved, and thank you, Lynn, for putting that together. We will now move down to public comments, and if there's anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on any item not on the agenda, we will allow you 2 minutes to speak. So please come forward to the mic if you wish to and say what you would like. Seeing no one jumping up and running, I will move on to...
John doesn't have a joke? No comment.
I will move on to council comment, which we will start with Dave Burbank.
Ward 3 is quiet.
Kevin Rainey.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Brent Svenby.
Nothing this evening?
Nate Dodson.
Nothing to add.
Jeff Fokelberg.
Nothing to add?
Greg Schultz.
In Ward 2, the Brook Tree Golf Course is about ready to open up, or maybe it opened already. And come on out and visit it. So.
Very good, thank you. And we will move to the mayor.
You know, Owatonna is really privileged to have such a great industrial park. And every time we have one of our industries out there being bought by another company, it's more rewarding than that we find out they understand the value of Owatonna and want to expand in Owatonna. So very nice to see Cybex and Cybex expansion on our agenda today.
Yes, it is, very nice. Chris?
Nothing for me.
Okay. I got Nate.
Nate, don't forget you.
No, you did.
Okay.
You're quick.
Are you trying to mess me up?
You're quick.
You're just trying to mess me up. Okay.
That too.
With that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate and Greg. All those in favor say aye.